All right, hello wine drinking people. Time for more of what I've had to drink yesterday. And things have slowed down here a little bit with suppliers. I'm surprised, September, kids going back to school, you got all kinds of things that are happening. But usually I see 3 people a day and just one lowly supplier yesterday, Tal from Stakehold. And, I'm always happy to see our friends from Stakehold. These guys have got an incredible book of wine. And this was kind of a mixed bag, and it just goes to show you the diversity of this distributor's bag as well. And Stony Hill, one of the most famous producers of Chardonnay in California. They've been around since 1952, and Jed Steele worked there in 1968. I always joke with Jed about that. He's been making wine longer than I've been alive. But this is a world-class producer, and only about 2,000 cases of this wine produced, and more of an old-school style wine. Not a lot of new wood here, and a little oak, a little bit of oak, but, mostly just pure fruit in this wine. You got lemon drop candy with notes of marzipan, hint of vanilla spice on the nose. Almost like a good and plenty licorice kind of note to this wine, also coming out in the nose. A rich and full-bodied wine on the palate with just a touch of spice and nice minerality, leaving that tongue tingling at the end, that green apple and lemon citrus fruit all the way to the end. Very nicely built wine, an excellent Chardonnay at $50 a bottle. This is one that can age, and it's been around since '52. There's a lot of older examples of Stony Hill Chardonnay out there. La Follette Pinot Noir from the San Giacomo Vineyard. Greg La Follette is one of the masters of Pinot Noir in Northern California. He's been working with San Giacomo since 1984, and this wine's got lovely, bright black raspberry fruit, kind of wild strawberry, light smoke, fresh earths, and brown spice, and like a dried meat kind of note to this wine coming out, smoky and really complex bouquet of aromas, and very zesty style of Pinot Noir on the palate. This wine's got that lovely brown spice showing through on the end of that black raspberry fruit. Pretty floral notes, and really lovely structure in this wine. Some tannins coming through, and lovely balance and freshness at the end. Excellent bottle of Pinot Noir from Mr. La Follette at $44. And then we've got our Domaine de Gros Notre Bandol. This is a Kermit Lynch product in typical Bandol. That's what you expect from Kermit Lynch. 80% Mourvedre, 15% Grenache, 5% Cinsault. A big and wild wine with dark spices, earth, violet, floral notes, bitter chocolate, savory herbs. Lovely complexity in this wine. A big and robust wine, really typically fashioned. Like I said, what we expect from Kermit Lynch. A good amount of terroir, but also has a lot of dark berry, sun-dried plum fruit shining through on the finish. Really nicely built. This wine needs some time, and some tannins still showing up at the end, and on the second day, still pretty tannic, and still really fresh. I mean, this is an excellent Bandol at $43. And then the Domaine Lafarge Tessela Old Vines Côte de Roussillon Tesselae. I don't know what that means. Anyways, this is one of the best values. The best value in the lineup, by far one of the best values I've had from the Côte de Roussillon this year. An excellent bottle of wine. Got 93 points in the Advocate. Lovely dark spices, wild flowers to the blackberry and black cherry liqueur-like fruit. Really lovely concentration in this wine. Dark chocolate, aged for 12 months in concrete. Your classic GSM blend here. A host of wildflowers and herbs to that fresh berry pie fruit coming through on the palate. Some nice minerality on the finish. Really fresh and fruity. This one's got a nice balance and nice length on the finish for a $15 wine. Wow, excellent juice. And then the Tournon, which is a new wine from Michel Chapoutier. It's a Shiraz from Australia. He's got a joint venture with the Trulato people down there. This is a Shays Flat Vineyard from the Pyrenees. And this wine's a very savory style of Shiraz from Australia. I don't know if you'd even guess this is Australian. It does have a little bit of that minty eucalyptus-y note that you get from Australian wines. But nice black spice, espresso, bitter cocoa, blackberry, blueberry fruit, really intense, but still nicely balanced. Notes of kind of a burnt campfire wood kind of nuance, and like I said, a little bit of eucalyptus. Some barnyardy notes as well, very savory Australian Shiraz with more qualities of a wine from a northern Rhone than Australia for me. But this is the Pyrenees. This is cooler. You got that black spice and licorice and eucalyptus on the finish. That's a telltale sign it is from Australia. Excellent juice at $34. Dominio Diatauta from Ribera del Duero. This is one of the areas where you find pre-phylloxera vines that are 100-plus years old. What do you get from that? Wonderful concentration, wonderful, naturally low-yielding, so, really a lot of richness. And these wines are on their own rootstock also, 100% Tempranillo. From a few places in the world, you find a lot of vines on their own rootstock. A good amount of intense cherry and wild strawberry jam-like fruit here, a host of dark spices and earth, a lot of minerality coming out, and some animal-like notes like raw steak here. Really nice complexity, and plump and juicy wine on the tongue with dark cherry liqueur-like fruit, round tannins, very ripe, still has a little bit of dryness on the finish, lovely spice and minerality showing through there. Very well-built wine, excellent juice at $40. And then another great value here, the Klein Constantia Cabernet Sauvignon from Constantia, South Africa, 100% Cabernet from some of the original vineyards planted in the 18th and 19th century. Bit of an herbal kind of cigar box spice and some nice earthy characters there to the currant and dark cherry fruits, dark berry fruit, currants, cassis. Very unique bouquet here. Some of that peppery spice that you get from South Africa, but almost reminiscent of a Bordeaux. No surprise, the Prats family responsible for making this wine from Bordeaux, Côte d'Estrennel. Good amount of that peppery spice coming through on the finish, though that telltale sign that it is from South Africa. Really well-built wine, a classic Cabernet, ripe currants and cherry fruits with round tannins, turning a bit dry at the end. You notice that cigar wrapper, tobacco, and a wonderful zest to the finish here. Lovely balance, even better on the second day for $23. Wow. I mistake that one for a Bordeaux from an area like Saint Estèphe. Hendry going to Napa Valley now with the Cabernet. This is their HRW Cabernet, which was previously a restaurant-only label. This is 100% Cabernet from all estate vineyards. And this winery used to grow grapes before they started making their own wines and sell to people like Robert Mondavi for the Reserve program, Opus One. So they made some very expensive wines out of this juice before they started making their own wines. They own about 112 acres in the benchland part of Napa, and this wine's got a good amount of dark currant cassis fruit on the nose, notes of milk chocolate, a little eucalyptus, minty nuance, and some fresh loamy earth. Rich and fruity wine on the palate with currant and dark cherry, smooth and polished on the tongue, a nice amount of note of milk chocolate and fresh herbs, and that fresh loamy earthy note all the way to the end. Excellent bottle of Cabernet for $23, maybe one of the best values I've had from Napa Valley this year for an estate bottled Cabernet. Getting harder and harder to find stuff around the $20 price range. And then the Hendry's Vineyard. This is their top Cabernet, made from 100% Cabernet, 24 months in French oak, unfined and unfiltered, a whopping 15.2% alcohol. Hoo-ah! More buzz for your buck, but this wine's still lovely balance. It does wear it quite well. It's a lot of spice on the nose. Big and chewy wine coming through on the palate. Lovely blackberry, liqueur-like fruit, cassis, sweet tobacco, and lovely richness. This wine is concentrated, but still lovely balance in this wine. Still fresh. It's got a lot of everything, many layers, and a long finish here. Most excellent juice at $63. You expect to pay over $50 for a great wine from Napa, but I guarantee you open this next to wines for $100 plus. You're not going to be any more impressed with them than you are with this. Most excellent juice. And that's what I had to drink with our friends from Stay Cool. I'm your host, Andrew Lampasoni, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying, remember, always drink the good stuff first.